Morning. Welcome to Life in the Suburbs with Sharon. I'm a wife, mother, resident of White Marsh Township, and a real estate agent serving all over Montgomery County and the Philadelphia suburbs. I have lived here myself for over 25 years, raised my family, and I have just recognized over the years and the last 10 years in real estate how this region is filled with such awesome places and people. So I've decided to bring it to everybody in a podcast. Thought it would be something that everybody could enjoy and maybe learn and see some of their familiar faces on my screen, which is fun. A quick bit of realtor wisdom I want to throw in today before I introduce our guest. So yesterday I was driving up my street and noticed that my neighbor across the street, who I happen to also sell his house to him, was ripping off all the siding, yada, yada, yada. I'm the kind of person that, as my real estate brain goes, I'm so excited. Not only am I the neighbor, but I'm also the realtor that's watching my client and neighbor reinvest in his biggest asset, right? So our homes are our largest asset. If you buy your home and live in it for 20 years and don't put any money into it, the idea of having this big bank on the side and equity really isn't going to be there. So my little tidbit, my realtor wisdom of today is please really consider smartly reinvesting, continuing to invest in your home. If you have any questions about that, I'd love to talk to you because I can really give you guidance as to what the best things to do are moving forward. So we are going to get started. Hi, Danny Cooper.
Hi, how's it going?
It's awesome. Awesome. So today we're speaking with Danny Cooper. He's the founder of Danny Cooper Basketball. But just to give you a little background, I've known Danny and his family, including his parents and his aunt, my entire life. I grew up with his dad, and really his aunt was a very close friend of mine through growing up over in Lower Merion. Danny grew up in Plymouth White Marsh with my kids. Even went to college at Penn State for a while with my kiddos. So that's another little connection we've stayed. We have so much to cover, so we're just going to jump right in, Danny. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for
Do it.
joining us in
Thanks
Life
for
in
having
the
me. I'm
Suburbs.
excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thanks for
So I always like to get started by having my guest give a little share a little about their background. Really, you've had a long path to get into what you have started now, which is Danny Cooper Basketball. So take some time and give us some history.
Yeah, so long story short, I have always loved basketball. It's kind of like all I've done my entire life. So when I was 16 years old, a junior in high school, I was looking for a way to make some side money. So I came up with the idea to train some kids in my community, and I just started doing it and I fell in love with it immediately. I could make a living doing what I loved and help people. That's what I kind of say are my two favorite things, basketball and helping people.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of took off as a junior in high school. And then I decided to go to Penn State for a couple of years and kind of would do it in the summers, and then transferred to Moravian University to play basketball and would always continue training in the summers. During the school year, obviously, it was hard because I had school and basketball and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just got out of school and went full time with it 7 months ago. So it's been a really cool journey. A lot in between those years, obviously, but that's kind of the summation of it.
So, Marie, so you went to Penn State. Were you planning to play at Penn State?
Out of high school.
Yes.
So I had like 10 Division III schools who really wanted me,
Mhm.
but I was kind of stubborn and of the mindset like Division I, or it's a failure or a bust. So
Interesting.
when my brother and all my friends were at Penn State, I kind of just decided to go there, and I actually tried to walk on my
Yeah.
sophomore year. And when I didn't make it, I'm the type of person, if I have something, I feel it in my heart, I have an epiphany, like I just kind of go for it. So when I didn't make the team sophomore year, I had a moment. It was right around when COVID was happening too.
Right.
And I was home for a couple weeks, had some time to think, and I just decided to make a leap and transfer. And it was the best decision I ever made. So
Now, when you were
yeah.
at Moravian, I mean, I know obviously you were a full-time student. You were full-time on a D3, right? D3
Yep.
team,
Yep.
which meant travel. Were you also training and coaching?
So in the summers, I called myself the trainer player actually. So in the summers, it was like a fun little brand I started, and in the summers I would train and play at the same time. Now during the school year, So call it September through April. I kind of shut things down. I would
Okay.
still make content and stuff like that, but I wouldn't really physically be training people because it was just so much with school in the season. But in the summers, it was, pedal to the metal all day, every day, because I had to train myself and train others. So,
And that's a great lead into my next question because I did want to mention I see you do stuff at the shore. I'm not sure where else you take this on the road. When did you start taking your program on the road and where do you go?
yeah. So, ever since I would say really 2020, when I started that summer, it was COVID actually, and everybody was home. So, I would do stuff out of my backyard during the
Mm.
week, and then on the weekends, I would venture to Margate and do stuff down the shore, and it really kind of took off. And then as I expanded my network and got out there, I would travel the country and get to train higher level guys, and travel to Vegas and LA and different places like that to help train. And then yeah, I've been very fortunate to be
All right,
allowed.
backtrack 1 second. How did you meet? Like, what was your connection to be able to get to these people? I know these couple names that my kids gave me, Mac McClung and Jack Forrest out of Lower Merion.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and how are you getting to find, like, what's the connection?
Yeah, so really just putting myself in positions to meet people. So I'm a big advocate of this concept. It's like pay to play or work for free, and just putting yourself in a position where you're around these high level people. So actually, when I didn't make the team sophomore year, I was kind of lost like any other college student. It's really hard to know what you want to do when you're 18, 19, 20 years old. So
Yeah.
when I was home for winter break, I think my mom actually sent me to a therapist, and it was like we were talking about just what do I want to do and trying to. I'm a big advocate of therapy, so
Yeah.
um, we came across Drew Hanlon, who's a NBA skills coach. He trains Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, and he kind of trains all the best players. And there was this seminar that he was holding in Crystal Lake, Illinois, this small town like an hour from Chicago, and came across it. And I told my dad about it, and without hesitation, he sent me out there. I think it was like a couple $1,000. So I mean, very grateful for my dad till this day. And
Wow.
we still talk about it like that was the moment that kind of changed everything. It was a 2 day kind of all inclusive, seminar on how to run the business and how to train people. And that kind of took everything off. And, you know,
He really saw a big picture to invest in you because that's an investment.
yeah. Yeah, it
That's
was
and that got you to like learn how to connect with how to be found by these people or find these people and introduce
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So I was only 19. I was like the youngest one there. There were, 30 and 40-year-old coaches. And from there, I asked Drew to intern for him for free. Fast forward a year, I ended up helping with his NBA pre-draft, which is like helping guys prepare for the NBA draft. And that's where Mac McClung was.
Okay.
So it was in Philly, and I was with them for a month. And Drew kind of had some other obligations. I think it was his sister's wedding or something. So I was left alone for a couple of days.
Ah,
So it was just me and Mac, and we really built a relationship, and then it kind of just took off from there. And I've been able to help him for the last couple of years, so that was really cool.
so let's talk about like my goal is to get to talk about what your future looks like. But before that, like I'm seeing you because I'm following you. I'm all over Insta, LinkedIn, Facebook. So
Yeah,
I'm seeing you. I'm seeing the inspirational part of you. I'm seeing the drills and skills part of you. I'm seeing that you're expanding your team with interns. What's going on? Like you're doing so much right now. Like, so what's going on now? What's your short-term goal or your short-term plan for your long-term goal?
yeah, lots going on. So I kind of touched on the high level clients portion. That was really when I was in college. I was just trying to meet as many people as I could and get my name out there and
Yeah.
find high level clients. But if you want to call it a problem, the problem was I had no sustainable income and sustainable business. So
Okay.
when I got out of college, call it June, I had to build a real business. I couldn't just travel around the country and, not have that sustainable recurring revenue. So basically the last 7 months I've been just head down building my business out of Ballackinwood right now.
Okay.
I'm building all my youth programs. So we call it an academy. So I'm building a skills academy where we have training 5 days a week, and then we also have different clinics throughout the year. So that's been my main focus right now. I kind of put the high level clients aside. It's hard anyway because Max in Orlando and guys are in season right now. So I've really just been focusing on building the youth portion of it right now.
Okay. So, and how is the I'm so intrigued with sort of social media and how it's connecting us that are entrepreneurs to our clients and potential clients. So, how is it working? Like how what kind of gut feeling are you getting from all those skills and drills posts that I see you obviously doing regularly?
Yeah, I mean, content's everything. I've been consistently posting almost for 4 years now.
Okay.
And a big concept that I try to go by, I got this from Gary Vee, actually, if you're familiar with him,
I am for
um,
sure.
is document, not create. So a lot of people, I think, when they go to post content, they think of what piece of content can I create today? Whereas the strategy that Gary advocates for and that we try to model is document. So we're big on just trying to film as much as possible. We do a lot of vlogs and day in the lives. And um, I
Yeah.
actually documented my whole Division 3 season for YouTube. And we kind of just try to be as authentic as possible. And I'm way bigger than basketball. I try to be way bigger than basketball. So I just try to help people in that aspect as well.
It's
So
working.
thank you.
It's building, it's working. I mean, you're 4 years in, I'm 10 years into my business, and it just takes that consistency. And I honestly think that part of it works when, I mean, obviously when you're real and authentic, but also when you really like what you're doing. Like some of us just gravitate to that sort of marketing show off kind of thing. And I see you do, and I do. And we just have to keep rolling with it. It's just that consistency. So, it's totally
For
working. I
sure.
mean, you got me to go like, yeah, I want to interview Danny Cooper. So,
Thank you.
to talk about just the podcast for a second. So we like to support super local stuff, um, all over at Philly suburbs. So I know that you're in Ballackinwood now, so that's still considered part of our awesome Philly suburbs. So, what is your favorite place that you've brought Danny Cooper basketball in the suburbs?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, I don't know, a place that there's a couple. A place that obviously is near and dear to my heart is just my backyard. So
I
like
remember
that's
your
where,
old backyard
yeah. So
with the basketball net.
yeah, so we sold my childhood home back in June, but kind of where everything started was during COVID in 2020. I held my skills academy in my backyard, and at one point during COVID, I had 40 players in my skills academy coming to my backyard. It was like 9 to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday in 95-degree weather. Those were like the days where I was really building, and I wish it was like there's some videos of it, but I was
Oh,
doing
wow.
the content of that back then so people could see. But that was really cool. Um, Other places I've brought it, I think just honestly the gym right now has
Where
been
is that, Jim? Where are you
so
doing it?
it's AFC Fitness in Bala Cynwyd.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for shout out Matt Lippman. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's the owner of AFC Fitness.
Okay.
I connected with them in June, and as a basketball coach, basketball trainer, the hardest part is finding a gym.
Yeah.
So having a consistent gym for the last 7 months has been amazing. So I'm very grateful for them. So shout out them. It's been amazing.
And has it been just because I know that you started your business very Plymouth Whitemarsh centric, has it been difficult transferring that to Bala, or do you also want to have a facility here in Plymouth Whitemarsh?
Yeah. So at first, like June, July, August, it was really slow to be transparent because we're in a whole new area. It almost felt like I moved to another state.
Yeah.
Like even Bala's only 20 minutes away, and I knew
Yeah.
some people, but it was kind of I'm on my own now, living on my own. So it took a while, but we've gotten it's honestly the perfect location because it's like 15 minutes from Philly, 15 minutes from Plymouth Whitemarsh. So yeah, I'm hoping to just get everyone kind of from the surrounding areas and having a facility down the line, like multiple locations is definitely in the prospects. So
Ooh, that's the big picture. That's
yeah.
that big picture goal I was looking for. So is that your future 10-year goal?
Yeah, I mean, I think building out my academy right now in Philly and kind of maximizing that and helping as many players as I can in the Philly area. And then I also want to expand nationally and globally. And that kind of brings along the topic of this nonprofit that I'm starting called Beyond the Bounce, where we uh we actually backtrack a little bit. I was going on a family vacation to Aruba
Mhm.
and in last April, and anyone who knows me knows I'm not a big vacation guy. So whenever I go on vacation, I try to do something work or business related.
Oh
So
my God.
I actually reached out to somebody in Aruba and we set up a pro bono clinic for 45 kids in Aruba.
I did see that.
And that was like one of the coolest experiences of my life. My mom, sister, and brother got to experience it. And so we thought of this idea called Beyond the Bounce, where we kind of want to travel the world and do more pro bono clinics like that and just help people in that regard. So once I'm taking this next 6, 12, 18 months to really build my base in Philly and then hopefully be able to scale it, build a team, and then be able to
Okay.
travel the country and world and do things like that. So
So just a little tidbit. I did not, I knew that you did this project, but I didn't realize that you were taking it, looking to take that further. Have you ever heard of First T?
I have not.
It's a nonprofit group. We can talk off camera, but it's a nonprofit group that starts young kids that don't have the ability to get into the golf world, gets them into golf pro bono. So it's
Or
another nonprofit. And I could connect you to, I think, the guy who's like the president of the organization.
cool.
He's actually a neighbor of mine. So it's a similar concept.
That'd be
Um,
awesome
that would be a really good connection. I'm sure you could learn stuff from him. All
for
right.
sure.
Getting closer. So let's do a plug for Danny Cooper basketball. Talk about how people can reach you, where they can find you, and any like upcoming programs. I'm sure you have some upcoming programs people can look for.
Yeah. So I mean, pretty much everything's on our website, dannycooperbasketball.com. And
Okay.
then like you mentioned, social media, it's at dcoopbball on most platforms, and then YouTube, Danny Cooper Basketball. That's kind of our favorite where we get to document and kind of showcase more than just basketball and showcase my authentic self and stuff like that. And then, yeah, we have some exciting things planned for 2024. We have an MLK Day clinic coming up actually, January 15th. And then just a lot of stuff planned in 2024. A lot of our Memorial Day clinic in Margate that always is a big hit, and just building out our group skills academy in Ballackinwood right now. So yeah,
It's a lot of stuff.
yeah, it is. It is.
Does somebody else work with you?
Yeah, so I have someone who works with me full time. His name's Nate. He was actually my college teammate at Moravian.
Okay.
We were the starting point guard and shooting guard. So that's been really cool. I'm super grateful for Nate and everything he does for me. We've pretty much 2 years ago, I was actually traveling Gate City, Virginia to go train Mac. It was like an 8 hour drive. And a couple of days before, Nate had never trained or done anything with me really before in a business sense. And he asked me if he could go. And I asked Mac and he said it's okay. And we drove 8 hours together to train Mac. And ever since he's been like my right hand guy. So been really cool and small team of two, but it's a lot. It's
It's
been
probably
awesome though.
pretty powerful if I can get any judge any character here from you. So um it's time to turn the table. This is your turn. You can ask me any question. Go for it.
Cool. Yeah, I was thinking about this one. You sent me the questions before. I'm always looking to learn from not just entrepreneurs, just everyone. And it's funny, I go in coffee shops and I'll talk to like 80 and 90-year-olds just because I'm always trying to
Yeah.
pick my elders' brains because you guys have so much experience and knowledge. So I had a couple, but the one that stuck out to me was just what's one piece of advice like you would tell your 23-year-old self if you're in my shoes right now? What's one or two things that you would say that would maybe fast track my growth or a mistake that you made that I shouldn't make? I saw this quote. It was a wise man or woman learns from others' mistakes. A
Yeah.
foolish man or woman learns from their own. So I try to learn from others' mistakes. So
I love mistakes. I mentioned it on one of the previous podcasts. It's one of the most important thing in the world to do and accept in your life because it's actually okay to make mistakes as long as you only make them once. Don't repeat them. But I think
yeah,
it's so important to make mistakes. Number one. Um, I'd say the other bit of advice is, which I didn't do, which I am trying to force myself to do more now in my stage. I don't like you calling me an elder, but I'll go with it.
I didn't mean it like that.
But
Yeah, you look like you're 25.
that's right. Okay. So I'd like to, I should have pushed myself out of my comfort zone more. You know, a little bit about my backstory with going into a family business. I literally went into my business that I worked in all through college and high school and everything. I went in full time 4 days after college graduation.
Wow.
Graduated on a Sunday and I started full time on a Thursday.
Wow.
And it was very comfortable. It was successful. It was wonderful. I felt great about myself. The business needed me. All things were good, but it was too friggin' comfortable. And I continued through the 23 years in that business to do most things that were comfortable. I continued to sort of follow what was comfortable. And not that that has to do with the business success or not success, because our industry is gone, but it was just more, I had a lot, I had a big challenge when I came out, when the business closed 10 years ago, and I had to decide, what am I now? You know, because it was more than just what am I going to do for a living? It was what am I now? Because that was my whole child. It was like my whole life. It wasn't just childhood. My parents bought the business. I was 11 and I was 40 some when the business, 43 when the business closed. It was my entire world. I just hadn't really stepped out of that comfort zone. So now I'm in a position, I had to make cold calls. I had to do all these things and I'm continuing to have to push myself. And I will say, I do fall sometimes into comfort again. And it's not a good place to be. It's not a successful place to be. Comfort is not the successful place to be. You have to be uncomfortable. So I hope that helps a little bit. I hope that's
Yeah,
the
no, that's a great answer. I always try to strive to get outside my comfort zone. I mean, it's easy. It's human nature to want to be comfortable, but I always look for different ways to challenge myself and get outside my comfort zone. But that's a good reminder to keep doing that.
And
So
I think some of the people that we're following, like a Gary V type person, that's their goal. Their goal is to push you out of that comfort zone. Their goal is to remind you every day that you shouldn't be in your comfort zone.
yeah,
You know, there's just people out there that I know you're following that, and it's a really healthy reminder. So let's just keep doing that. So thanks for the question. All right,
yeah,
as we wrap up, I just really want to say something. I thought this was going to be a cool interview, but I got to let you know that I think I learned so much from you today. Um,
thank
you
you.
are a young kid with a really strong head on your shoulders, with a lot of interests and curiosity and drive and smarts. Obviously, I know you were a super student. Um, and I just learned so much from you. Like I wrote so many notes, like for instance, the pro bono work, you know, that you're doing is a great lesson for people starting, for entrepreneurs. It's an amazing lesson. Um, what else was I writing? Gary V, document, don't create. Thank you for incorporating that in. Like, so there are all these things that I just wanted to point out that I'm taking notes, and I hope other people heard them like I heard them today, because it's just great to give back to others. So thank you, D Coop.
Thank you.
That's
That
what's
was
got
awesome.
them.
Love-
It was great. And please tell your whole family I say hello. I'm sure your parents and your aunt are going to see this. Everybody has been on the lookout for this coming soon. So we're going to
They
say
have. I'm
goodbye
gonna
to
send it out.
everybody. What's that?
I'm gonna send it out to everybody.
Yeah,
They're
we're
all
gonna
gonna
we're
see it.
gonna share again with everybody, and visit me on YouTube at Life in the Suburbs with Sharon, and you can find me on all the social sites, also Sharon Loudenbach Realtor, and hope to see all of you soon. Thank you so much.
Bye.